Hello, good evening everyone, and welcome to round 3 of the Race Club Season 5 Championship. And tonight we have yet another double header for you from the fantastic Monza circuit in Italy. And as you can see by the entry list on the left, we have got a really good turnout tonight. And we can also see some of the lap times these guys are throwing in for Monza are absolutely incredible. And we're down into the 148s, which is way below whatever I could achieve when I was attempting to pedal one of these things. So that is going to be so tight into that first chicane, which we know Race Club has a little bit of history with how should we say, possibly people trying maybe slightly optimistic manoeuvres into that first turn. So, just to remind you what we've got for you tonight, we've got 2 races. We've got a 40-minute sort of semi-endurance race, but doesn't have any compulsory pit stops. That is our first event of the night. And then we've got the sprint race, which is half the distance, which is literally, as you probably worked out, 20 minutes. And before each race, we've got 10 minutes of qualifying, which is just about to kick off. Now, I'm sure one of the questions that is on the edge of your lips is, where is everybody in the championship? And well, the 2 guys to look out for are the 2 Audi drivers, and I'll just whiz down to them now if they're going out. No, they're not. I'm on with Donardi, and the other guy is Chicken Paxo, and that is, Donardi is just making his way out. Now, after the week we had at Brands Hatch, where Donardi benefited quite well from Chicken Paxo's mistakes, Donardi walked away from that with 2 wins. So he is definitely in the pound seats at the moment when it comes to the championship. But when we're talking about it in points terms, Donardi, he's on 87 points, and in second place is Chicken Paxo, he's on 73, and those 2 are head and shoulders above the rest at the moment. And just around that top 5 we've got Bazox, who had a couple of good races, but I did, from memory, I think got caught up in one or two tangles last week, which rather spoiled his race. And then in 4th place, who's only been at 1 round so far, and they had a really stunning round. Sorry, he's dropped down from that. I do apologise. Because I'm being given duff information to myself. No, there we go. In 4th place is Britain the Spit. He's only done 2 rounds, but he's still holding on to 4th place. Now, he had a really cracking first race with us at Imola, and then we haven't seen him since. So hopefully he's going to make a comeback, because he's still in a strong position there in the championship. And then in 5th place at the moment is DB Kung. Now, those of you who were with us last week will remember that DB Kung literally gate crashed the pole position at the Brands Hatch second round, where everybody thought we'd got it wrapped up, and I think it was Chicken Paxo on pole, and then DB Kung in the Ferrari came from absolutely nowhere and snatched pole position right at the last car. So I think he was like the Ayrton Senna, he was the last car across the finishing line. So we're just on board now with the Brownster as he goes round Grand de Curve. Now, Brownster's had a bit of a disastrous start to this season. He had a couple of incidents last week, I believe, at Brands Hatch. I'm just trying to rattle through my memory. I must watch my own highlights. And then the previous round, he had, which is something which is quite unusual for sim racers, he had a complete mechanical failure of his brake pedal on his sim rig and actually broke the thing off. So it gives you some idea what kind of pressure that guy is putting into his brake pedal. But Brownsley is one of the guys that you would expect to be up the front there. And also DB Kung is one to look out for. Donardi will be up there, and I think the other 2 in the top 5 will be Chicken Paxo and Anun, the driver who swapped previous season being in the Lexus. He's now in the Mercedes, and he does seem to be getting that under his belt, so to speak. And I've noticed that he is actually was in the 148 during free practice just before this event started. So I think he's going to be one for us really to look out for. Now, this, assuming he's kept within track limits, this lap by Brownster there in the McLaren is going to be the first one. That's a 1:49.9. Now, I think we're going to go quicker. We are a little bit later in the day than what we were, but I still think we're going to see slightly quicker times than that. So let's see who else have we got out potentially on a quick lap from up at the front. Here we go, where we've got Donardi coming round the Parabolica. Just can't run too wide on the exit there, otherwise you're going to get yourself a track limits penalty. And he heads towards the line, and no, he's still up in the 150s. So these cooler temperatures compared to earlier are affecting the lap times, it appears. So, and we've only got 5.5 minutes left of qualifying. So it is quite a long lap here. And oh, there we go. Anuna's just slotted into second place. Bazzett's into fourth. But we're still only just dipping under that 150. So who else have we got coming up to the line? That's Chicken Paxo, I think, was coming to the line there, was it? No, that was... Oh, DB Kung, look at that. He was the smash and grab raider for the Brands Hatch pole last week, and he's up to his old tricks again. He's got it down in the low 149. So I'm doing quite well at the moment, because the top 5 that I predicted are actually in the top 5. Well, there would be a good reason for that, is they're the only 5 that put a lap time in, but let's not let that spoil a bit of a fairy tale by the commentator there. So let's just have a whiz down at a few of the others. Oh, let's have a look. Who else have we got coming in? I think we've got Randy Flangepants coming up to the finishing line in the Bentley. No, he must have gone out track limit. Now, I imagine a lot of these drivers are having issues with track limits, so maybe just actually putting a lap in and just being a little bit more cautious and not getting your lap time validated might be a bit of a good idea, just to get yourself that bit further up the grid. And there's another driver there, and he's going to be on the phone moaning at me, who I think should be up in the top sort of probably half dozen. He should be able to get his Banff, who's currently down there in 15, because he hasn't got a lap time in yet. So there's a few drivers there which I would expect to be a bit higher up, but they just haven't got the lap times in as yet. Let's just see who else have we got out there that we think should be doing something. Chicken Paxo's one that should be doing something. Now, I'd imagine who's got just trying to see who's gone a little bit far. Oh, I think Donardi's just gone a little bit quicker there. He is up to third, just 0.2 off DB Kung. So that looks like Chicken Paxo is about to get a toe maybe off the Brownster. He looks like he's coming up behind him. Now, with 3 minutes to go, these guys haven't got a chance to pit. It's quite a long lap here at Monza, so they haven't really got a chance to sensibly sort of pit and get a high number of laps in. So, oh, hello, who just popped? Someone popped. Oh, Banff, yeah, as I predicted, up there in the top 6. Owen Marge has got a lap time in, but that's a little bit off the pace there. But regardless, he kept it between the lines, and he's 8th at the moment. So the rest have to put a lap in to get themselves up the grid. And talking to the people that got to get a lap in, Chicken Paxo, he's running out of opportunities here. He's running right up to the line as they come out of Parabolica there, taking the shortest line to the finishing line. And there we go. Oh, I think he's gone for a safe bet there. He's done a low, just under 150, whereas the Brownster, I didn't notice they had just slid in with a 148.9. So let's see if the Brownster can actually put some decent scores on the boards this weekend. Just to let you know, with this, the way the scoring works, the drivers do drop their 2 worst scoring rounds. So Brownster's already got those out of the way, so he needs to be banking some points as we work our way through the season of 12 rounds. Next race we've got coming up is the first of our endurance races, so that'll be a 1-hour event with accelerated times. That's next week, so that's one you definitely want to tune in for, because we'll have compulsory pit stops, so that will certainly liven things up. So let's see who else is popping a lap in. Well, who else do I expect to pop one in? Well, White Snake is in the pits. We've lost somebody. We're down to 14 cars. Oh, DB Kung and a Nun. The track. Well, I did suggest the track was slower, but I got it completely wrong, which is why I'm a commentator, not a driver. So a Nun has dropped it down to about 148.6, and then DB Kung, the pole specialist, he's got it down to 148.1. Could we possibly see a 147? I'd be surprised, but it's, you know, it's not impossible. So who else have we got? Let's just have a quick look. Anyone else we think should be putting something in? Randy Flangepants has got a lap time in, and so, excuse me, Marge has got a more representative lap time in there as well. So he's there in 9th. Trying to work out who we've lost. It's not one of the top 6 or 7. I'll keep an eye on that. Hopefully they'll rejoin, because they can still rejoin in for the race. So who else have we got going around at the moment? There's Tony 69 in the other black McLaren. He looks like he's coming up to complete a lap. Let's see if he can get one in that's between the lines. Is he going to make the finishing line before the time runs out? I don't think he is. So this is it. This is his final time coming up now, as he heads to the line. And no, unfortunately he didn't count, because he didn't, unfortunately, keep it between the lines. So who else is out there now? So he's completed. Several have gone back to the pits. I think Chicken Paxo is one I might expect to put something a bit quicker in. It looks like Brave Corporal, I think, could be... No, there's somebody there in the gravel who's returned to the pits. So that's Brave Corporal in the Lambo, just coming through the Ascari chicane, while he heads down the straight there towards Parabolica. I'm just going to have a quick look and see if we've got any action on our YouTube feed, because we do encourage people to get involved and come along and interact. Tell us what you think. Who do you think is going to be good? Who do you think is going to be bad? Who's going to turn the sound down? So please do get involved. I'm just trying to find out where the live chat has gone, because I'm not the best YouTuber going, and that's slightly unfortunate. We don't appear to have. Here we go. Is that it? No? Well, I'd say pop in the comments and tell me how to do it, because I can't work it out myself. So what I am going to do before I'm going to jump onto DB Kung, because I want to move to a slightly different view, which is a bit dangerous at the best of times, because we're going to go for an aerial shot for the start, and I'm just hope that's going to work. So just bear with me 1 second. I might go a bit quiet, because thinking and talking might be outside my regular... John Riley was having a few issues, but he is back in with us now, so he's admittedly down the back of the grid, but John, I'm sure, can do something from there. I'm just trying to work out what's going on with YouTube, because I think they've done one of those really irritating things that apps tend to do, and have decided to change the app and not actually tell me how I'm supposed to find what I'm looking for. So I do apologise if you're working away there trying to interact with us, because I can't actually see where I get the live chat up, because it's different to what it was last week. So I do apologise. So while I'm trying to sort my mess out this end, just to remind you where we're heading now, we've got our first race, which is 40 minutes. So that is going to be something around about 23 laps. There's no compulsory pit stop, lights the flag. It's a full sighting lap. So we should have, you know, the cars forming up in probably a minute or two, and then they'll take their full lap. Then it's a rolling start, and we're just fingers crossed, because there's been some chat and some comments in the race chat that the drivers all have together, which I'm part of, is that they are slightly concerned about the first turn, because anybody who knows the Monza circuit and that first chicane, it's braking from one of the fastest points on the circuit down to one of the slowest points. So, as the saying goes, gentlemen, you can lose it at the first corner, you can't win it, and we have history of losing it quite a lot. So hopefully we will all have a nice sensible pill, and they will all tiptoe round it, and nobody from sort of mid-pack will attempt to lead through the first corner, because we all know from history that's not going to happen. It's going to end in a load of skittles. Excuse me while I prepare my voice with a sip of Tetley's Best. I'm still struggling with this YouTube app, because I can like it, I can dislike. Oh, I know what I've done. Oh, dear me. I'm on the wrong account, aren't I? I do apologise.
30 seconds.
Let's try something else. Let's try that one. Oh, Anun has been kicked, so he's ended up at the back.
20
so
seconds.
That's slightly unfortunate. So let's see if we can find a race club in here.
10 seconds.
So drivers will be sorting themselves out for this first race. We've had a couple of incidents where drivers, particularly ones that have changed cars. Oh, that's unfortunate for me. For the one driver I have chosen. Oh no, we've got around it. Thank God for that. The drivers have had a couple of mistakes with putting the incorrect amount of fuel in there. Now, I don't quite know what's happened with my aerial view there, which I'd booked with the cameraman, but it's all gone very trackside, so we're going to stick with that for this time. Let me just see if I can get this live chat up. No, that's made absolutely no difference whatsoever. So I do apologise. As the old comment goes, chat amongst yourselves, because it doesn't appear to be able to access it whatever account I'm in tonight. So I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen, and those in between, because at the moment, oh, we've got a couple in the pits as well. We've got a Nun and R80, so they've decided to start from the pits, unless I can see anything. Nun. So Nun was in second place, so Browns has got himself elevated in the black McLaren. You can see there on screen now, up to the front row. So if he can get a good start, he's going to be quite chuffed with that one, I imagine. DB Kung, when he got that pole, he did well for a few laps, and then I can't remember if he either got overtaken or made a mistake, but he did fall back from that pole position. He did hang on to it for several laps in that race 2 at Brands Hatch, but then unfortunately it all fell apart for him. So I'm going to have one more go at this YouTube and see if I can work out what on earth is going on here, because at the moment, to be honest, I can't. So it keeps wanting me to connect to my own channel. Oh, I had a horrible moment there where it all went horribly quiet, and I thought, no, we don't want him on, do we? Go, that's live. I know I'm live. I'm watching it. Others are watching it. I can see you watching. No, I can see the live chat button, and it's... Why is the live chat button greyed out? If anyone who's in Race Club can message me and tell me why the live chat button... Oh, this actually is turned off for content that is made for kids. Well, apparently this is made for kids. Well, I have got no idea what is going on there. Kids content. Oh, right. Well, we can't fix it. And we're coming up to the final chicane, so we're going to have to abandon that. That's going to have to go out the window for the night. Thank you, Roll, for letting me know where it was all going. Yeah, well, I don't. Thanks, Roll, but I've got no idea why we are on kids content. That seems slightly illogical to me, but hey ho. Who am I to reason why with the how the great mights of people like YouTube work out, because I haven't got a clue what they're on about, because I must have just put it onto the wrong yeah, no, I don't understand it either, so I do apologise everybody out there, but that's it. So let's get back to the race. They've completed their warm-up lap, they're getting into position. We do have a gap there actually where Anun should have been, alongside DB Kung there, who would have been in that, who was in the blue Ferrari, the Mercedes of Anun. So we're just waiting for the lights, and we're off. Green, 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 and we're away. And it's a good start by Brownster behind DB Kung. It looks like Bazek's possibly got slightly left behind there. Let's see, can they do it? They're going to all concertina up. They say jam on the brakes at about 150 metres. And oh, Brownster's going for the inside there. There's a little bit of touching, but they're giving each other space. That was a bit Hamilton McLaren, a couple across the grass there, but it doesn't look like anybody particularly has got left behind. That looked like, I think, maybe Donardi that was going across the gravel there. The two Bentleys there now chasing down Brownster, who is in front of the blue Ferrari of DB Kung, who's flashing his lights, trying to get that lead position back. And the two Bentleys keeping in close attention. And then that's Chris V Dub in the green Porsche there. So I'm trying to see, as we go through the first timing point, a couple of drivers got left behind there, and I'm not quite sure exactly what happened, but we'll stay with this battle for the lead at the moment. You can see one of the Audis still in the background there, and that was Donardi, so it must have been Chicken Paxo, yeah, who's down in 14th, who was the driver that got left behind. So I can see there's a driver off at the first chicane, so I'm not quite sure what's happened there. So anyway, into the Ascari chicane. DB Kung, as I was trying to see what else was going on, has got the lead back from the Brownster. I do apologise, ladies and gentlemen, there's so much going on, I'm trying to keep track in all directions. So as we hurtle back down to the Parabolica, it looks like DB Kung is actually gapping Brownster a little bit, and Brownster's coming under attack. And talking of coming under attack, it looked like Chris V Dub was having to go down the inside of Donardi, so that's a hell of a move there for Chris V Dub, who actually just uses a controller, and he's getting his elbows out there. He's like the fat kid on his way to the tuck shop, but he's not got them out quite wide enough, and he's tucking back in behind the Audi of Donardi as they go down towards the first chicane. And there's action further up, as it looks like Banff and Bazek's possibly are changing places. They are, unfortunately, their cars are so alike, I haven't got a clue. Oh, and that's Chris V Dub going across the chicane there. So he's dropped back to 6th and now 7th, I think, because yeah, Rusty GT has got him there. Has Rusty got him yet in the Ferrari? So it's Rusty GT in the white Ferrari there up to 6th, and Chris V Dub down to 7th. So let's just have a quick look at what's happening further back. Chicken Paxo is trying to make his way back. I saw him out there wide on the grass at the first chicane, so I imagine it just lost him those positions there, so he's going to have to do some hard work to catch back up. But it's a 40-minute race, so he's got some pace in that car. So let's try and keep an eye on what's changing and not changing. So it looks like Brownster's now gapped the Bentleys, who are having their own little fight. So that's Bazek's currently in 3rd and Banff in 4th. So these two are running line astern at the moment. So let's just have a quick look back. We're all still running fairly tight, apart from Brave Corporal, who is in the pit. So I don't know what's happened there. I think he qualified down around about 10th. So now looks like Bazek has managed to gap Banff by enough to give him a little bit of breathing space. Donardi is on his way though. He's not far behind these two, and we know he's got good outright pace. So let's just move up the front. Let's see how Brownster's getting on now after that first lap battle between DB Kung and Brownster. Has settled down a little bit. Now just remind you, there won't be any pit stops. Oh, sorry, I'm not saying there won't be pit stops. That's incorrect. What I should be saying is there's no planned pit stops or compulsory pit stops. So if anybody like Brave Corporal ends up in the pits, it generally means something has gone wrong. So let's just run our eyes down. Anybody moving and shaking? Not that I can immediately see at the moment. Chicken Paxo is a little bit... Oh, and Nun is up to 11th and Chicken Paxo in 12th. So I can see those two working their way through the field as time goes on. We're only 5 minutes into the race, so still got, you know, nearly 90% of the race to go. So I can see those two making their way maybe through some of the guys in front of them. It's really a case of just being able to keep the pace up. And with this Monza circuit, it is one of the easier tracks to overtake with these long straights and hard braking. You got that chance to slipstream, to slingshot yourself by and then hit those brakes hard and get the inside line for the next corner. So once they catch the drivers in front of them, you would think, and it looks like they are catching fairly quickly, because the gap from a Nun there in 11 up to Tony 69, who was in front of him, was about 2.5 seconds. It now looks like it's down to probably somewhere around about a second, I would say. So I think we're going to see a manoeuvre coming up here. Let's go with Tony. I'm keeping my eye out at the front. Well, the one that is actually getting very close is Donardi. Oh, just as I say it, there they are, coming a bit close to each other. That was Donardi having his first go at getting by Banff. Now his next opportunity is at the second chicane, but he needs to get over to the left-hand side of the Bentley in front of you. He can, but the Bentley, well, initially it looked like it was going defensive, but then it changed its mind. Oh, and the Bentley takes to the curbs and leaps across, but still holds on to the position. So I don't know if there'll be a discussion with that one with the stewards, because he did manage to keep that position despite the fact he went off track. I'm sure if it was Hamilton and Vettel, Hamilton and Vettel at Canada a couple of years ago, Hamilton would have been on the phone. So very similar situation. So let's see whether that gets externally decided. And talking of decided, unfortunately, while we're watching that Banff and Donardi battle, and Nun has already got past, and using quite a lot of track there, he's already got past Tony 69. So that's a Nun up to 10th place already. Chicken Paxo doesn't seem to be catching as quick possibly as I expected him to. So I don't know if he collected damage in that first lap incident, but the one that definitely has got pace is a Nun, and his next bit of interest is, here we go, Whitesnake, who's up there in the Aston Martin in 9th. Oh, hello, there's a bit of action in front of there as well that's just occurred. Looks like Chris V Dub has made a mistake, because he's dropped back behind Marge there. So Chris V Dub made a mistake, so we've got a three-way battle here. Chris V Dub, Rusty and Whitesnake all together. So that looks like Whitesnake trying to go down the inside there, but can't quite do so. The one that has gone down the inside there is Rusty GT. He's gone down the inside of Chris VW. Chris VW, who's in the Porsche. Well, I suppose the Porsche is a sort of derivative of a Volkswagen Beetle, so I'm going to get myself in so much trouble with that comment. So we are working our way up towards the second chicane with these two guys. It looks like Chris V Dub hasn't given up on trying to get that 7th place back, and there we go, into the first Lesmo. He's got a good exit from the second chicane up the inside of Lesmo 1. Rusty's hanging on round the outside as they head towards Lesmo 2. Can he hold a high ground around the outside? He's trying to. They're side by side still, and it looks like Chris V Dub has possibly got slightly better traction there, but the one that's gaining from this is Whitesnake, who is hanging on to the back of these two, and with those two racing, they have very much allowed him to close up. So can any one of these three make a breakaway? So it's now Chris V Dub in that green Porsche, and then the white Ferrari of Rusty GT, and then Whitesnake in the Aston Martin. So we're heading down towards Parabolica. I'm keeping an eye on what's going on up front, and at the moment DB Kung is making a breakaway from the Brownster. So it's all fairly line astern up the front, because they've got about 2.5 seconds between first, second, third and fourth. So there's not much action that you're missing up the front there at the moment. So let's keep on with this one. There's Whitesnake, gets his Aston Martin under the rear wing of that Ferrari. The Ferrari's going defensive on the inside as they head towards the first chicane. Frisbee Dubs trying to make an exit here. Oh, and is that Whitesnake trying to do 2 for the price of 1? Sorry, that was Rusty trying to do 2 for the price of 1 in the Ferrari. And look in the background, who's taking advantage of all this? It's a nun in that blue Mercedes. He's caught these up from a pit lane start. He's already up to 10th, and I think he's going to slice his way through these like a hot knife through butter. So the first one that he's going to have a go at there, is he going to go down the inside there? No. I thought he was going down the inside there, a Whitesnake in the Aston Martin. These are all running still really close together. Oh, Rusty got a bit too much curb on the inside there. And down the inside, Anun's looking into Lesmo too, but can't quite get it done. His next chance is Ascari. Can he get a good exit? There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're right with each other at the moment. They're heading down towards Ascari under the bridge which carries the old oval bank track. And then there's a nun looking the inside at Ascari. Has he got it done? No, he can't. Still can't get it done. Oh no, they've come together. Oh no. Oh, and he's right on the racing line there. Someone's coming around the corner. Are they going to miss him? I think that's Tony. No. As Tony's come around the corner, but Tony is now being closely followed by Chicken Paxo. Tell you what we're going to do. Let's move to a slightly different shot. Probably be the kiss of death, but we'll give it a go. There we go. We'll have a slightly further shot out. That's better. So this is Chicken Paxo on Tony 69. Chicken Paxo in the yellow and red Audi there, using all the track. Now he's trying to get the slipstream as they go down the main straight. We're just clicking down to 28 minutes to go. And as we go down to the first chicane, Chicken Paxo's having a look. He's having another look, yeah, and he's gone for it. I think Tony decided it was probably better just to let him go. He's in a different race to Chicken Paxo, so he's let him through, which I think is probably a wise decision. I would have done the same thing. So let him go. You're going to lose more time fighting with him. Now, interestingly, what this has done with that little half spin that Anun had, with that coming together, I think, with Whitesnake, that he is now allowed Chicken Paxo to catch him up. So the gap between Anun and Chicken Paxo is down to 2.2 seconds. But I do expect these guys to move their way forward fairly quickly, even though at the moment they're still 8 seconds behind Whitesnake with, you know, 2/3 of the race left. I would expect them to be able to catch up. Right, you'll be glad the short interludes will have stopped now, because I've finished my cup of tea. So let's just have a quick look, see if I can find anything in the group chat. Oh, R80 is unfortunately had to retire. He's got a technical problem with his steering wheel, so unfortunately he's out. We've lost somebody else as well, because we're down to 13 cars. So I'm not quite sure. I'll have to see if I can work out who's... No, Randy Flangepants is still there. Randy Flangepants is in the pits. No, we'll keep an eye on that one. I'll have a look at the entry list in a minute, but there's too much going on. So let's have a look at the gap up the front. And oh, it's DB Kung we've lost. That's why I couldn't see what had happened. I was looking down the list of drivers. DB Kung has seen to have this race in his pocket, has gone. So I'm just trying to see. No, I can't see anything in the chat. So DB Kung, having got the pole, was romping away to victory, and he's lost. It's gone. A technical issue, I'd imagine, has dropped him out. So the Brownster now has got a clear run. He's got the two Bentleys of Bazix and Banff in second and third, and we're looking at Bazix at the moment to keep him company, but there's 4 seconds up the road. So that's an absolute disaster for DB Kung. He was, possibly he could rejoin and get back out on the track, because I still think he could get, he could get points. But let's have a look further down, just see who's doing what. Now, Donardi, I don't see him making many inroads on Banff at the moment. Oh, I believe in big black tyre marks there in the Audi, and I've noticed that last week at Brands Hatch that the Audi of Chicken Paxo did seem very loose at the back, and Donardi left two great lines of rubber there coming out of the Parabolica, so looks like he's struggling for grip already. So I'll keep an eye on that gap between him and Banff, because it's sort of 6.5 seconds at the moment. Now, a driver who doesn't generally qualify too far. Oh, and just coming out of the pits is Randy Flangepants, so he's come back in to join the race and neatly letting through Marge there. Now, I think Marge is going to be quite happy with that, up the 5th place. Kept his nose clean, all around him have fallen away, so I think he's going to be quite happy with that one. Now, this battle, though, is still raging between Chris V Dub, Rusty and Whitesnake. These three haven't given it up, so I'm going to stick with this battle, because I think this is where the main action is. These three, so as they're coming towards you, that's Chris V Dub in that Porsche, then the Ferrari is Rusty, and then Whitesnake just a little behind in the Aston Martin. These three are being caught by a Nun in 9th and Chicken Paxo in 10th, so who generally are quicker drivers than these three, so this should neatly tighten up as we work our way in, as we are quietly approaching half race distance. So let's have a quick look. Have we got anything else that's likely to bubble up? Not that I can see at the moment. Randy Flangepants down there in 13th has come out and rejoined the field, so he can plug away and get a finish there. Brave Corporal, I think he's been in the pits as well. So, just noticed Chris V Dub running a bit wide there at the exit of the Ascari. And actually, it looks like Chris has gapped himself a little bit there from Rusty. Marshall's waving the blue flags, but nobody's being lapped here. This is all for position. So what we'll do, we'll move back to Whitesnake and we'll take a little brave pill and go for the onboard shot, and I'll hope that you can all still hear me, because the noise does go up. I have been playing with it and I can't even look at the live chat to find out if you're able to hear me alright. So I'm just going to plug on for a minute or two while we do this one. And just looking at lap times there as they were flicking through, it's interesting to note that Chicken Paxo was 2 seconds quicker than the Nun, so I don't know if the Nun made a bit of a mistake that lap. But right, let's go on board lap as we sit here with Whitesnake in 8th place, chasing down Rusty in the Ferrari in 7th. So this is Grand the Curve, long right-hander, and then we'll get up to around about 160 metres, whack on the brakes hard for the second chicane, try and take a bit of curve on the entry, there we go, bit of curve on the second one, don't run too wide because the gravel's really tight there on your left, and then we head up towards the Lesmos, up to 4th gear, possibly just before it, then brake back down to 3rd, try not to drift wide, it's so easy to put your wheels off into that gravel there. The same with Lesmo too, down on the gears, down to 3rd, don't run too wide. Oh, the back was trying to come round there, but he hung on to it. So there we go, as we blast our way down towards the Ascari chicane, we're going under the bridge that carries the old bank circuit, and then just for this bridge, whack on the brakes, here we go, down to about 3rd or 2nd for that first bit. Try and not catch those curves on the inside there, they'll send you into orbit, and then you can run a bit wide on the exit there, and then down towards the last corner. This is Parabolica, starts off tight and then opens up, so again about 100 metre mark, whack on those brakes. Oh, we've got a little bit deep there, we're a bit of a stranger to the apex, but we've got the throttle down now. Can we get close enough to Rusty GT in front to make a move? Rusty obviously thinks so, he's going defensive, he's going up towards the pit wall, we're getting closer, the slipstream's working, can we do it? Does the Aston Martin have the legs in the straight line? It's going to the outside. Oh, and we've outbraked ourselves. We're having to go through the remains of the polystyrene and spread a bit more of it. He does the right thing, rejoins in the position that he was. So that was building up to be quite exciting, but in the end wasn't. So let's just move back to be able to change drivers, because I'm just having a look that Chicken Paxo is really quick on the back of a Nun. So I don't know if a Nun picked up some damage when he did that half spin, but it seems incredible to see a Nun and Chicken Paxo fighting for 9th and 10th. They're usually fighting for, you know, first, second, third or fourth.
We're halfway through, keep pushing.
And there we hear on the radio, we're halfway through the race. So let's have a quick look, see if we've got anything else developing. There's still that battle for 6th, 7th and 8th. Looks at the moment Chicken Paxo's maybe a little bit stuck behind. And Nun, these are a very similar pace. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to hop on board with a Nun, looking back at Chicken Paxo in the Audi as we exit Ascari, as we blast our way down towards Parabolica. About to hit the brakes about now. There we go. You see the rear wing rise as he brakes, fairly close to the apex. Now, if Chicken Paxo's going to do anything, it's likely to be on this next straight. Now, already looks like a Nun was moving across, and yeah, you can see moving right across up against the pit wall, trying to defend that inside line. He's fearful that Chicken Paxo will get the run down into the first corner, and Chicken Paxo's getting closer. He's disappearing behind that rear wing, and there we go. He's gone whizzing by, and if I get the right shot, there we go. And he does great manoeuvre there by Chicken Paxo. Absolute textbook. Got the slipstream. Got right up close to the back of the Mercedes of a Nun, and then was by and through. So absolutely fantastic stuff there. So let's just move back to the regular cameras, see what we've got happening further up. So where are these guys relative to 6, 7? Well, they're only 3 seconds behind. So I can see potential for these guys to get up maybe 6th and 7th if they can get through the pack of cars in front of them. So it looks like that battle for 6th, 7th and 8th maybe has settled out a little bit, because there's Rusty and he's a little bit on his own. You can see there's Chris VW coming through, and Marge is not actually that far in front of him either. So there's quite a little pack here, so this could bubble up with just over 17.5 minutes to go. I think these, you know, from basically 5th down to 10th could all concertina up before we get to the end of the race. So that looked in the background as they all whiz through there. I thought that was a Nun, looking like he was possibly trying to get back by Chicken Paxo, but no, it doesn't look like he is. And it does look like there is a bit of damage to the aero on the front of a Nun's car, so maybe that's just what's caused him to lose a little pace. You can see the shut line on the bonnet there isn't quite what you'd expect it to be, but he's certainly on a very similar pace there, the Chicken Paxo. So let's see who else is doing what. DB Kung has returned, and he is out there. He's currently running 13th. He's in front of Randy Flangepants, who had that long pit stop. So unfortunately he's about 5 laps behind, so I'd imagine I'll have a quick look at the chat, see if there's any chat on that. So I can't see anything from DB Kung as to what happened. Let's just have a quick look at where are we at. White Snake is looking quite close in the white and yellow Aston Martin there on the back of Rusty GT, but as I would like to say, I did predict, look in the background there, you've got Chicken Paxo and a Nun hunting down these 2, 3, 4 drivers, so they've got a chance to get some positions up here. I think that car running in the background is a lapped car, so don't worry too much about that one. The back of this pack of 5, maybe 6 drivers is Chicken Pack Zone and Nun, which is the green and blue cars in the background. So here we go, as they're working their way down towards Parabolica. It looks like Chicken Pack Zone's having a look at White Snake. No, he's not. He's decided against it. Now, of course, you've got White Snake and Rusty GT having their own little battle. And then we've got, here we go, look at this pack of 4, line astern, going down the main straight, fantastic stuff, look at this. Who's going to be the first one to pull the trigger and pull out? It's White Snake. White Snake's trying to go round the outside of Rusty GT, and Chicken Paxo's trying to go between the pair of them. Oh no, it's ended in disaster. It was all just too tight. Oh dear, it's all gone horribly wrong, and I think, yeah, White Snake has gone and picked up a penalty from there because he went straight through the run off as chicane too quick, and he's now got a stop and go 10-second penalty. So that's going to be quite painful for him, because that's going to drop him down probably to about 11th. So Chicken Paxo, he got through that without too much carnage. Rusty GT, I think, was the one that lost out the most. So I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of post-race investigation of that, which we leave to the stewards. But so yeah, Rusty is about 10 seconds back on a Nun and Chicken Paxo now. So unfortunately that means he's out of that. White Snake's got that stop and go, so that's going to drop him seriously down the order. Chris V Dub is going to be probably the winner in that, because it's going to give him a little bit of breathing space maybe. But let's have a look. No, Chicken Paxo's only a couple of seconds behind him. So White Snake has let Chris V Dub through, but that won't fix the problem of his penalty. And look, you've got those 2 cars there, Chicken Paxo, the green one, and the blue one, the Nun, are hunting down White Snake, who's going to have to peel into the pits, if not this lap, on the next one. Oh, Marge has gone for the pits, and it looks like White Snake's gone for the pits as well. So with 13 minutes to go, I can't imagine that was tyre wear. May possibly been a fuel issue. But here we go, down to the first corner. That's Chris VW in the green Porsche, just going out the bottom of your screen there. And then we've got Chicken Paxo there in the green car, and the Nun in the blue one. So these things, oh, the 3 gone for the, Rusty's gone for the pits as well. Now that may be for repairs following that incident. So unfortunately that great pack of 4 ended up getting broken up there. So, but we've still got a Nun and Chicken Paxo hunting down Chris V Dub. Oh, of course, I was wondering where we lost Marge to. Marge has gone to the pits. So the stop and go has been cleared, and so Marge is coming out of the pits and White Snake's out of the pits. So I imagine Rusty's in there for repairs. So it looks like in the background there, Chicken Paxo and the Nun are using all the track and a bit more as they came out of Lesmo 2, so they are trying really hard. I don't see, I can see them getting up to 5th and 6th, which they'll get by passing Chris V Dub, but I don't think that they are going to get any higher, because I think the gap is too great, and I think that will be reliant on them having to a car in front making a mistake. So we've got, let me just get the right view here. There we go. So here we go. So this is Chicken Paxo we're riding on board with, and we're just trying to catch Chris V Dub, who's done a little bit of weaving there, but Chicken Paxo gives him a bit of broad space. If I get the right camera, there we go. He's completed the move, he's down the inside. Oh, he's gone maybe a little bit deep. Oh, it looks like Chris V Dub's going to come back and have a bit of a go. Seems to be quite a lot of damage on that the front of that Porsche. The paint needs a bit more than detailing by the look of it. And now it looks like, there we go, we can see in the background, look at that, we've got a Nun in the blue Mercedes coming up the inside of Chris V Dub as we head towards the second chicane. Oh, and he's got the move done. So That's Chicken Paxo up to 5th and a Nun up to 6th. Now, I don't think they are going to be able to get any further. It's just whether between these two, whether there's going to be any chance for a Nun to get back by Chicken Paxo. But that, I think, is probably as far sensibly as they can get. Oh, I just noticed there that it looked like a Nun had made a little bit of a mistake there. Let's hope the camera shows it in the background. Yeah, and Nun's having to go defensive as they head down towards Ascari, but he's later on the brakes than Chris V Dub, so he's through and got that move done. But it looks like Chris V Dub isn't, totally giving up that place to a Nun. He's hanging on there, so we'll stick with these two for the moment. I'm just looking up and down the field to see if there's anything else I can see bubbling up. Unfortunately, with a few lap cars, it's quite difficult at times to work out who's actually close to who, as against who is just being lapped. So it now looks like a Nun is just breaking that gap to the green Porsche of Chris VW. VW even. I will get told off for that. I was just wondering if he was going to take a dive on the brakes, which he hasn't. Now the only other one I noticed was a little bit close. I noticed Marge had gone to the pits. Now, I imagine that's for repair, but also would have picked up fresh tyres. So, having had over 30 minutes wear on the tyres there, he's now out with a fresh set compared to most of the drivers around him. So, I'll be wondering if he's going to be able to make a few inroads, because he's currently only 3 seconds behind Whitesnake in 9th in the Aston. Whitesnake, who got caught out with that penalty. So what sort of gap? No, the gap to Whitesnake's increasing. It was about 2.7. It's now 3.7. So Whitesnake is getting away from Marge. Rusty, who I think also had to pit for repairs, he's now 10 seconds back. So that's fairly settled. So Chris V Dub has dropped a couple of seconds back from that a Nun and Chicken Paxo battle. So we'll just run through the order. Poor old Brownsley's been out front there ever since DB Kung had that connection issue, and he's been unchallenged really. He did nudge into the lead on the first lap, then DB Kung got him back, and then that was it really. He was sat in a very happy second place. DB Kung disconnected, Brownsley's taken the lead. Touch wood, he hasn't had any mechanical failures yet, so don't quite know why they're waving the blue flags at him, because there's nobody around him. So Bazix is cheerfully working away in second place with his teammate Banff in third. They had a little bit of battle first couple of laps, but have decided to settle things down, and so Bazix has gapped him now by about 3.8 seconds. And 3.8 seconds is the gap back to Donardi in fourth, who, he had a double win at Brands Hatch last time out, but he's not really seemed to had the outright pace. Did qualified well, but fourth place seems to be about where his pace is this evening. So his teammate, having had that adventure at the first corner, has worked his way back up to fifth. And then he's still being followed by a Nun in sixth place, who does seem to be dropping back a little bit, as is Chris V Dub just behind him. And then Tony HKR, he's had a fairly quiet evening, but he's worked his way up to 8th place. Majority of those behind him have pitted, but he's kept his nose clean, kept it pointing the right direction, and is going to come out with a good result there. So shows you don't necessarily have to be the fastest to get a good result. So Whitesnake, as we know, had that trip across the first chicane and picked up that penalty for a shortcut, so it had to go to the pit. So, but that was only 10 seconds, so that wasn't as painful as some of the incidents the other drivers had. Then Marge there had to go for the pit. I assume that was damage related, because he went in fairly early, so if it was fuel, generally it's quite late on. These people tend to pit because they've just got that calculation a little bit wrong. And we just clicked under 6 minutes to go, so I would guesstimate, just depending on where the leaders are. Let's have a quick look. Where's the Brownster? So we're going to complete this lap and probably 3 more after it. So we've got 3.5 laps to go. So who do we get down to? I think Brave Corporal in the Lamborghini there. He's had a fairly quiet evening. I think he had a little bit of time in the pits earlier. And of course DB Kung, he's the big loser tonight, was out there, had the race in the bag. He had the stereo on, the window down, and lit a cigar, and then all of a sudden he disconnected. So but well done for him for coming back, rejoining. So I assume it was a technical issue that disconnected him, and he's not actually running last on the track. That honour goes at the moment to Randy Flangepants, who had that extremely long pit stop. I imagine he might have been working something with setup. So he is rounding out the field in 14th there at the moment. So I am still desperately looking for a little bit of on-track action. Now, the best I can find for you there at home is Chicken Paxo and Nun in 5th and 6th, and these two, since that incident of a Nuns going into Ascari, seem to have been, you know, kept within a second or two of each other the whole way round. So I don't know whether a Nun will be crossing his fingers that maybe tyre wear will affect Chicken Paxo in front of him. A Nun at the first round at Imola had a bit of a disaster in both races, that he missed field, or short field shall I say, and had to pit on both races, which unfortunately was wrecked it a bit, because he needed to do avoid the pits, because it's not a sort of an endurance type race where there's forced pit stops. So unfortunately that did rather cost him. So he is getting a little bit closer now. He's got the gap down to sort of 0.6, 0.7, where it has been up to about a second. Oh, he's got it wrong there. He's got it wrong. He's gone across the escape road. Commentator's curse is strong in me tonight. Just as I was building that up for a finale, it all went horribly pear-shaped. So let's see if we can find anybody else. Now actually, Donardi is moving in a bit on Banff, because he was about 3.8 seconds back and he's now only 2.8. Let's see what it is as they cross the line. 2.7. So 2 laps to go. Can he do anything? No, I'd be surprised, but maybe it gets psychological. You see that gap closing from the car behind and you just try that a little bit harder, and a mistake creeps up on you that you were hoping to avoid, and all of a sudden that sort of semi-comfortable gap disappears. So let's stick with Donardi, see whether he can do anything about that gap to Banff in front of him. It's 2.7 last time. We're coming up to the first split. It's down to 2.5. He's left this charge a little bit late, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. Coming up to the first Lesmo. Giving that apex a little bit of a wide berth, I'd say there. Again, the back end of those Audis just looks so unstable to me. It just, when they're trying to put the power down, the tyres and rear suspension are just crying enough, and it just doesn't seem to want to grip that well out of the corners. It may just be that I'm old school and believe that the engine should be in the front and the drivetrain at the back. So there we go, another 0.1. He's got it down to 2.4. There's only going to be 1 lap at the end of this lap, so he's going to have to really pull his finger out. But it just helps, you know, psychologically, if that's a word, that you get to see that driver get closer and closer and closer, and as you get closer, that gap seems to come down quicker.
The leader is on the final lap now.
So here we go. Brownster's just started his final lap. So here we go to the finishing line. What gap has Donardi got on Banff now? It was 2.4. It's now 2.2. It's not impossible. It could be a side-by-side battle here into Parabolica on the last lap. Sorry, I was just slightly taken aback there by the black flag with the orange circle on it. which I assume means last lap, because I can't think anything else it means. It's a new one for me. I'm not an expert in endurance racing flag, so if the live chat was working, I would interact with you and try and find out what it is. So here we go. What's the gap now? 2 seconds. Or is Banff just taking it easy to the finish? He's taken the best life out of those tyres. Just 30 seconds to go until the clock finishes. And Nunn's now 3 seconds behind Chicken Paxo. Nunn in 6th, Chicken Paxo in 5th. So that battle is very much done. Those marshals there in that area seem very keen on their blue flags when they don't actually need to be waving them around. So I'm just going to keep an eye on where the Brownster is. I don't want to miss him crossing the line. So let's see what gap. 1.6 now between Donardi and Banff. So I think it may be just too big a bridge to cross, but it's only going to take one little mistake. Banff just disappearing out the bottom. Oh, hello. 42. Who was that? Oh, that was Randy Flangebank. So that's not going to have a massive effect on the overall result. So here we go. Coming up to finish line, slightly gifted the win by DB Kung's disconnection.
The leader has finished the race.
But Brown's across the line in first, Bazix comes across in second, and Banff comes across in third with a very close 1.3 seconds back to Donardi. So then there is quite a gap. Who's that coming across the line down the bottom there? Oh, that Rusty GT's just crossed the line now. So it's Chicken Paxo with a Nunn. Nunn has caught up a little bit. But this is 5th and 6th coming through now. Round the Parabolica. And then the drivers will carry on round and finish off as they wind their way back to the pits. So that's Chicken Paxo through and Nunn through. So the next one through, Chris V Dub. Had a couple of little adventures there, got involved in that big four-way battle, but did come out of it fairly well. So he comes through in 7th. And then, oh, that's Randy Flangebank is just heading for the pit lane to take his penalty. So the next one to cross the line will be Tony HKR. Going out, fairly quiet race for him, but coming through in a nice solid 8th place there, so he'll pick up some good points for that one. And the next across the line is DB Kung, who was, you know, probably our de facto race winner, but unfortunately, due to that disconnection, he ended up not actually completing the race. And then finally across the line, Whitesnake, who unfortunately took a bit of a hit from that penalty, but overall it wasn't too bad. So let's see if we can have a different view here. So here we go, drivers are just working their way back round to the pits on their slow down lap. However, it looks like Bazix and Banff, despite being teammates, are trying to demolish each other's cars on the way back to the pits. So Donardi coming in there in 4th place. And somebody's coming. Oh, that's Rusty GT, who was 1 lap behind. He's coming back into the pits there. And then we've got, no, not Chris V Dub. It was the Lambo. That was Brave Corporal. And a few scuffs on the front of that rather expensive Lamborghini there. So who we got coming around next? Not sure. I think it might be a Nunn. Yeah, Nunn coming around Parabolica. Yeah, you see the damage to the front of that Mercedes with that incident at Ascari. Overall, would he have got any higher? Started from the pit lane. He might have stayed in front of Chicken Paxo because that cost him the time to him. So I don't think he would have made any bigger inroads than that. And then, oh, somebody's off at the final corner there. And actually, who's off at the final corner? There's DB Kung on his way back down. Trying to see who else is working their way around. No, DB Kung is the last of the runners on the circuit. So that's race 1 all wrapped up for you. So the Brownster finally scratches the card with some significant points for his championship. Donardi and Chicken Paxo, 2 leaders in the championship. This won't put any dent massively into their lead, but just it does close it up, gives the others a bit of a chance. So just as we wrap this one up, we'll be straight into qualifying. There we go. Well, perfect timing. Look at that. God, it's almost like I know what I'm doing. We've got perfect timing into race 2. So, this is a qualifying for race 2, and as you can see, it's a bit more into the day. This one, the sun's out, so the track temperature is going to be a bit warmer. So that could affect lap times a little bit. Again, this is only a 20-minute race, so we won't expect to see any pit stop. Anybody who ends up in the pits probably has made a mistake, had a problem, or for some other reason, but it certainly wouldn't be planned. So first one out of the box is Brave Corporal, taking advantage of the nice clear track. I will just have a quick look, see if I can fix this problem with YouTube. I doubt I will. My technical man unfortunately is away at the moment. Oh yeah, we got some chatter. Here we go. Just whizzed my way down the a lot of sympathy for DB Kung, which is fair, because he really was he wasn't robbed. Well, I suppose he was. He was robbed by the gods of internet connection. So, which was slightly unfortunate for him. So, hopefully, if he can put another good lap time in for qualifying for race 2, he might be able to get the points that he lost out on there. So, let's just. Why is everything always slow when you need it to be quicker? So let's just have a quick look, see if we can work out what's going wrong with this YouTube channel. Just to be honest, I don't really know. Let's have a look at that one. I don't want. See, it keeps wanting me on YouTube Kids, and I really don't understand why it's gone on to that one. Unless our channel is on YouTube Kids. Let's have a quick look, see if we can. No. No, we'll have to. Sorry, no live chat tonight. God, it's all gone horribly wrong tonight, isn't it? We've got no super technical. You know, you got no video me. Well, you're probably grateful for that one. We can't have all the nice graphics on screen or anything like that, so I do apologise. And then it's got connected to YouTube Kids. So how on earth it's got connected to that, I have no idea, but I'm sure we'll unravel that for you for next week. So here we go. Got just 7 minutes of qualifying left. Somebody looks like they've parked it possibly in the gravel there, but got going again. It was one of the 20s. That wasn't Chris V. Dub. So who else have we got? So Brave Corporal was the first one out, so he should be the first one to put a lap in. So see if the driver. I think we had an issue in the first one where the drivers were struggling to keep their colouring in between the lines as they drove around the circuit, meaning that they were getting a bit ambitious, using a bit too much track and having their lap times deleted. So let's hope that we can get them all through with representative times first time out, and then they can improve from there. So here we go into the Parabolica. Goes Brave Corporal, coming out on the gas, tries to take the shortest run to the line. So has he got a lap time in? Yes, it's 1:53. I think pole's going to be a lot quicker than that. I think we're going to be down in the low 1:48s if the first session was anything to go by. But let's see who else can put anything in. Who else is coming around? Let's have a look at the first of the fast runners. Well, Brownster's going to be fairly well up there, so he's coming down to the Parabolica. So Anun's putting a 1:50.1. I think that's a safe banker lap. Let's hope he can keep connected as well. So here we go, up to the line comes the Brownster, 1:48.9. I think that's going to be front 2 rows. I don't think that's going to be pole position. So who else is out there coming up? Oh, Donardi's just going out. I think he might just be, might have made a track limits area there. Oh, who has gone through? Nun's gone through. He's on about a 150. DB Kung, yeah, he's just over 150 as well. So I reckon he's bubbling up towards a faster lap. And we've just gone over halfway through this qualifying session. We've got just under 5 minutes left to go. So Chris V Dub popped in there with about a 151, but then DB Kung immediately demoted him with just about a 150. So, oh, Marge up there. Wow, great pace for there for Marge in the McLaren. He's up there. He's on about a 150 as well. So who are we expecting around that we haven't seen? Donardi we're on board with at the moment. And Chicken Paxo, again, bit like first time out, hasn't got a lap time in yet. And we've got just over 4 minutes remaining. So he needs to get a bit of a scamper on. So maybe he's on a hot one now. And talking about a hot one, I think Donardi, his teammate, needs to get through with a quick one as well. Oh, Bamford's got a good time in there. He's up there in second. So look, there's a whole pack there, about 1.1 off pole at the moment. So here we go, into the Parabolica. Heads towards the finishing line, absolutely flat to the floor. And there we go, Donardi goes third with that lap time. So the next one we would be expecting through is Chicken Paxo. He's working his way down towards Parabolica, put his lap time in, and it's great to see everybody. The only one that hasn't got a lap time in yet is White Snake in the Aston. So you've got hugging that curb, that's what you see, then run it out wide right to the green bit. Got to keep the wheels on the track. I don't know, that was touch and go. I don't know if he managed to do it. Has he got a time in? No, he hasn't. And he's running. He's got 2 laps left that he can get a time in, assuming he's got the fuel in the car. So pressure's on here for Chicken Paxo. Oh, and there we go. Talking the pressure on, and Nun is into the 148s. He's got a 148.8 in the Mercedes there. So, and DB Kung up there in third, and look at that, Marge, cracking lap there, Marge. Look at that. He's down in the low 149s. So that's. Marge is not one that I expected to be in amongst them up the front there, so cracking times there. Look at that, the top 7 are a second clear of the rest of the field. Absolutely incredible stuff. And the one that should be up there to join him is Chicken Paxo. So pressure's on there, Chicken. You need to get your Paxo stirred. So let's have a quick look. Who else have we got that might be on a good lap? Can't see anybody that's looking particularly out of position at the moment. So let's stick with Chicken Paxo. Go the full Monty and go on board with him. So here we go, into Ascari. Big chunk of curve on the inside, there we go. Just not too much on that bit because you'll fire yourself into orbit. No, again, he's done it. He's gone too wide coming out of Ascari. I think that time's been deleted. We'll find out as he crosses the line. He needs to keep at least 2 of the wheels on the track, and the track is between the white lines. So I think he's got it all to do on this last lap coming up. So here we go to the finish line. Let's see if it banks him a point. Does it leave him still in 14th? No, it did give him a point. He's up to 8th. So I was wrong as ever there, because I thought he'd gone too far over the line for it actually to count as a lap. So he's up into 8th, but that's really out of position for him. So DB Kung on pole now, 148.816, just 0.015 in front of a Nun. So the pole meister of DB Kung is up there again, and then it's just 0.063 back to the Browns there. So there's absolutely nothing between these 3 up the top. So, oh no! What can I say about that? I don't know what to say. Randy Flangepan's got it horribly wrong. I think he was trying to keep out of the way, and then unfortunately hit the wall on the inside and completely pirouetted DB Kung to the other side of the moon. And there's the remains of Randy's car coming out of the way there. So I don't know quite what to say about that one. I think I would imagine Randy Flangepants has got his head in his hands after that little incident. Oh, and Brownster obviously wasn't going any quicker on that one, so he's called it a day. So here comes, oh, and the time's out. I don't know whether Nun can still put another lap in, but he's going down the inside here, so that's compromised his line into the chicane. Oh, come on, boys, it's qualifying. Oh dear, that's, well, DB Kung looks like he's managed to hang on to the, oh, Randy Flangepants still going. He's found another barrier to hit. So Marge is still out on a lap. I don't know how his timing is going. No, it looks like he's pulled out of that one. But that was that's a cracking time there for Marge. He's up there to 4th. Let's see, where's Chicken Paxo? He's just coming across the line now. He's got it up to 7th. But that's him done for qualifying. He really left it late. He was obviously pushing, I think, too hard, too early, personally. But yeah, oh, hello, who's popped up there? Oh, I think Bamford's popped up there. Demoted Marge to 5th. So Bamf done quite well there. Donardi, oh, he's actually just behind Chicken Paxo. So Rusty GT there in 9th. Chris V Dub 10th. Randy Flangepants, despite that pirouetting destruction of 2 cars, he's there in 11th. Tony HKR 12th. Brave Corporal in 13th. And White Snake didn't actually put a time in, decided to start from the back of the grid. So there we go. That's your grid for race 2. I am going to attempt the Brave pull in a minute, and let's see if we can get this aerial shot again. I'm not sure if I trust either of these two at the front, because they seem to be the two that get disconnected. So let's hope that I can get the aerial shot that I'm after. Well, we'll put it on it and we'll cross our fingers and see what happens. I'm not convinced it's going to work. Unfortunately, with these racing simulations, the spectator mode is a bit of an afterthought, and it tends to be, can be quite glitchy and buggy. The one with this simulation, the Assetto Corsa, has improved considerably over time. I will thank the software engineers for that. But quite often they are very much an afterthought and not always that user friendly. The latest GT7 I know has had quite a few problems trying to get access to spectator mode, whereas the previous GT Sport was fantastic. The replay used to go a bit haywire occasionally, but the rest of it was generally pretty good. And it was all very you could connect the keyboard, and I could sit there. I wasn't quite Liberace on the keyboard, but you could quickly switch to different views, which gave I think a much better experience for the viewer. But unfortunately that's not something I've got with this Assetto Corsa. But I'm not going to be a workman and blame me tools. I wouldn't stoop that low. Let's have a look on the chat. I'm still bemused as to why we've got stuck on kids chat. There must be I think that's a definite change in setup, because I don't quite know. Oh, I'm going to risk changing the view. There we go. Let's risk that, shall we? We can't return to garage now, so we're going to have to go with this. It's going to be a bit brave. I'm hoping we won't get skittle mode engaged at the first corner, which is always a possibility. But the 2 blue cars you can see at the front there. On the left, the Ferrari of Anun. On the right is the Mercedes. Sorry, on the left is the Ferrari of DB Kung, and on the right is the Mercedes of Anun. And behind him you've got the black McLaren of the Brownster, and then beside him you've got Donardi in the yellow Audi, who actually, I hadn't noticed, right at the death there, Donardi had bumped his way up the grid. That must have been the last of the last laps, because his teammate is 4 4 places behind him. So it was at that time Donardi was behind Chicken Paxo down in about 8th, so he managed to scrabble up there. So the 2 Audis are not having the good race that they had last week. They were absolutely flying last week. So I'm desperately trying to fix this YouTube, because I do love to interact with the chatters out there, but it's really not happening. So here we go, we've got the helicopter shot, it's working. Let's just hope the drivers that I'm connected to don't glitch out as we go towards the first corner, because that would rather kill it for us. But nothing ventured, nothing gained, as the old saying goes for. So just to remind you, this is a 20-minute race. There's no obligatory pit stop, so it will be lights to flag. I think we've got all 15 cars are on, 14 cars are on the track, so we should have some good battles all the way down. Particularly the top 7 or 8 are very close on pace. One driver that I think is definitely punching above their weight tonight, I'm impressed with, is Marge 21. I think qualified down about 8th or 9th in the first race, but was up there, I think 3rd or 4th in the qualifying at one point, but has dropped back to 6th. But also was running well in that first race until I think possibly an incident. So as long as they've got the right fielding on, we should be good to go with Banff to get in with that leading pack. Here we go into the second chicane. See that gravel on the right hand side of the shot there. It's just so easy to put a wheel off into that, and then just loses all your momentum down to the next Lesmo, and quite easily a car can be up your inside and through. Here we go, just down this short chute into Lesmo 2. Again, this is one where in qualifying you can't run too wide onto that outside curb, because it will delete your lap time. And the great thing is we're going to get a shot of the cars going under the bridge of the old circuit. So for those of you not aware, this circuit used to be a circuit of 2 halves, really. That there's a banked oval which could be used independently, which they're just going under there. You can see at the bottom of your screen there. Bridge looks quite short because it's such a steeply banked oval, and possibly we'll get a better shot as it comes down towards the final corner. But it was almost like a figure of 8 effort. There was this road circuit which they're using now, which is pretty flat, and then there was the bank circuit, and they formed like a figure of 8 version to create a much longer lap. But also you've got like IndyCar type banked oval leads into a road circuit, and then back into an IndyCar oval, which I think one I can't be called out in the live chat, but somewhere around about 1961ish, the Italians changed the circuit, so it back to the bank circuit, which hadn't been used for quite some time, to advantage the local Ferrari team, which of course is something I'm sure it was just coincidental. So here we go, the cars are just getting lined up as we go to the grid in their 2x2 formation. DB Kung again leading the way, 2 out of 2 poles. I'm hoping we're going to see a bit of old track on the right hand side of your screen, but unfortunately we're not. No, we're not. So there we go, it's down to this first corner, because they'll be up to almost top speed as they get to that first chicane, and then braking down so hard. They'll just be trying to keep it under 70 kilometres an hour, and we're away. Green, and we're away. Oh, and they're looking quite tight at the front. Donardi's getting in there, and also it looks like Banff is looking. Oh, he's now looking to the inside of Brownster. It's looking tight. Let's keep it neat and tidy, lads. It looks like Rusty in the background taking a bit of a look. Oh no, and there's one coming across the grass. Oh, it's just caught. But actually, we've come through in the same order. I think we actually went into the first corner for the most of the drivers up the front there. So DB Kung leads, second is Anun, third is Brownster, and then it's Banff and Donardi. So here we go, up to the second chicane. Looks like Anun just having a look to the inside there. Oh, look, the Bentley, sorry, he's coming in a bit late there, and it's spun Brownster round. So he's going to have to wait. So that is, the Bentley was just very, very late on the brakes there. So, but the Brownster's got away again, not quite sure in what position. Let's just change view. We'll return to garage. So the Brownster will have to wait until he's just in front of Chicken Paxo. So that looks like he's put him into about 9th position at the moment. So unfortunately that was all a little bit messy there at the front there. Let's have a look what's happening up the front there. So DB Kung is really under pressure there from Anun. These two drivers had problems in the first race of differing sorts. So, and it looks like DB Kung has got a little bit of an escape going on there. He's a bit further up the track. So we're just going to quickly change to our trackside cameras when we get to the right one. There we go. So here we go, round to complete, lap 1. So DB Kung leads. Oh, I was going to say, how was Donardi up in the third, but that was down to Banff and Brownster coming together. So Banff has really paid the price there because Banff is down in 10th. So he was just so late on the brakes into the second chicane there. It was that horrible moment where you brake slightly late and you just can't do anything to stop it. Remember, this is only a 20-minute race, so they are going to have to get on with it fairly quickly. So let's just have a look, keep up with the front, just see whether Anun can do anything about DB Kung in the lead at the moment. So Donardi watching brief in the background. Bit of a gap there because the third and fourth place cards were knocked out in that lap 1 incident. So we go round into the second Lesmo. What sort of gap has Donardi got? 2 seconds at the moment. Let's see whether it gets any less. And then Donardi is not that far ahead of Bazak, so I can see this all bubbling up. DB Kung taking the central line down the track there as though he was defending. And Anun was getting so close there. I think he was getting sort of drawn along by the slipstream there. Got really, really close, but thankfully didn't spin round. And it does look like these two are pulling away from Donardi. And actually, it looks like Donardi made a mistake there because he's let Bazak through. So Bazak's in the Bentley is up to 3rd, and in 4th place is Donardi. So I'm on with Donardi, showing him 3rd at the moment, but that will correct as they cross the finishing line. Now the big winner out of that first race melee is Rusty, who I did think took a bit of a launch down the inside at the first corner but got away with it. But he's now defending from the Brownster as they go down towards the first corner. So who's going to be late? Are the late breakers here? Looks like they're braking fairly much together. Oh, Rusty couldn't stop it. Don't go through there too quick, Rusty, because otherwise you'll get a penalty. Just steady, steady, steady. That's good. Slot in behind the Brownster and you should be absolutely fine. So the Brownster's back up to 5th and Rusty down there to 6th. Now the next one that's going to be after Rusty, and it already is by the look of it, is Chicken Paxo, who was a little bit out of position at the start, but he's working his way back up at the moment. So it's still very tight for the lead, but it is, looks like it is spreading out a little bit as we move down the field. So I'd imagine Chicken Paxo is going to want a piece of Rusty fairly quickly, and in the background is coming Banff, who was the one that turned Brownster around at the second chicane. So, oh, somebody's off at the... Oh no, it's Marge. Marge had such a great qualifying, and it fortunately looks like he's off the road there at the second chicane, which seems to be the home for all the issues today. So it looks like he's possibly had a disconnection. So There we go, Rusty GT just going through your picture there with Chicken Paxo looking to the inside as they go the Parabolica. Need to have great overspeed to be able to pull that manoeuvre off, so don't think Chicken Paxo can do it on that particular occasion. So I do feel for Marge there. I was having a cracking race there, really good qualifying. Unfortunately, it's all gone away from him. So I was just having a quick look in the chat, see if he'd reported what had actually happened, so I can't bring that to you at the moment. So there we go, Rusty GT hanging on to that 6th place at the moment. Oh no, he's got over Verstappen and gone across the curbs, and unfortunately given Chicken Paxo the opportunity to nip through into 6th place. So the next one that's going to be after Rusty is Bamp, who is recovering from that lap 1 incident as well. So he's in the boat, Bentley. I think I was right first time. And he's now right on the back of that white Ferrari of Rusty GT. Oh, Rusty GT just a little bit late on the brakes there. The chicane of doom struck again in race 2, and now Chris V Dub is all over the back of Rusty, and it looks like he's got good speed there as he heads towards Lesmo 2. Can he get down the inside? No, he can't quite make it happen. So can he do anything as they go to Ascari? Rusty GT, he's taken the defensive line, which he's perfectly entitled to do, forcing Chris V Dub to go round the outside if he can do it. Yeah, Rusty's given the Porsche space there, but he just hasn't quite got the speed there. Rusty, oh no! Again, well, do you remember what I said earlier about the curbs? Well, that's what happened to Rusty there. Got a bit too much inside curb, and the tyres weren't touching the tarmac, so he was in the air and wasn't able to turn the corner, and Chris V Dub was going around the outside, and unfortunately he was the 10-pin bowling pin to the bowling ball of Rusty. But it looks like Chris V Dub has actually got away with that one. Is he going to stay out? Yeah, he has. So his car's not particularly damaged. So not sure. Is Rusty GT still going? Not sure. Yeah, he's on his way possibly into the pits. Oh, it looks like we lost another driver. Actually, we're down to 12. So who have we lost now? Can't quite see at the moment. So unfortunately, in the middle of all that, action going on everywhere here tonight, everyone. Difficult to look, but a Nun has got by DB Kung. Now, I'm guessing here, which is the best thing I can do in the situation, is that I think that a Nun probably got DB Kung at the end of the start-finish straight, because that's the most obvious overtaking place. So, but these two are on a very similar pace, and we are already over a third of the way through this second race. So let's see who else we've got doing something. Well, we've got Donardi, who is in 4th, who is not that far behind Bazux, so that's one that could bubble up at the moment. So the yellow Audi there of Donardi hunting down the Bentley of Bazux, and then the other one we got, oh, there we go, all over your screen, is Banff just behind Chicken Paxo there. So Banff recovering from that first lap mistake, now all over the Audi of Chicken Paxo as they head down towards the Parabolica. Now I don't think he'll do anything here. If he's going to try and pull anything off, it will be at the end of the straight. Now it looks like Chicken Paxo's gone really deep there. Yes, he has. He's out wide, a little bit deep on the brakes there, missed the apex, ran out onto the dirty stuff, but it's given him a bit of a slingshot back onto the main straight. So can he get that Audi by the Bentley? So that's Banff in 6th, Chicken Paxo in 7th. They're heading towards the first corner. This is Chicken Paxo's chance to strike back straight away, but the Bentley was just a little bit towards the middle of the road, compromised the chance of Chicken Paxo getting down the inside. So that is Banff through to 6th and Chicken Paxo down to 7th. They're having a good race at the moment. I don't want to put the commentator's curse on it to James, but
We're halfway through, not over yet.
Randy Flangepants is currently running in 8th position. So keep it straight, keep it between the lines. You've got 3 seconds to the driver behind you, so just keep it going, James. We'd love to see you have a good result there. So let's just have a quick look back up the front. Now, having been in the lead and keeping Anun originally at bay, and then Anun got by DB Kung in that DB Kung in the blue Ferrari got overtaken by Anun, and DB Kung seemed to be keeping close. He now seems to be just dropping away a little bit. Now I don't know whether Bazix can do anything about DB Kung. What I'm really hoping here is DB Kung's connection stage, because he deserves a good result for the qualifying laps that he's putting in. So hopefully he will be able to stay connected for another 8 minutes and 55 seconds plus the rest of the lap. So who else is getting close to anybody? Chicken Paxo is still fairly close to Banff, but again he seems to be using an awful lot of track. I think we've got probably about 5 laps left. Oh, saying that, DB Kung was 2 seconds behind Anun, so it looks like he made a mistake, but he's now creeping his way back up towards the leader, is DB Kung, so maybe that battle for the lead's not quite over yet. These two guys tonight definitely seem to have the pace to it. Oh no, we've lost somebody else, we're down to 11. Everybody's falling off the track tonight? What's happened? Who's we lost? We've still got the Browns to Denardi Banff. Chicken Paxo we've got. Well, Marge we knew had gone. Rusty GT's there, but he's in the pits. He's just gone in for repairs. So we're having a little bit of a drop off there. It must have been one of the drivers further down, because Chris V Dub. No, Chris V Dub's still there. So yeah, not sure who that was, but somebody on that has just dropped out there. So hopefully we won't lose anybody more. We've only got 7.5 minutes to go. So getting this gap between Anun in the lead in the blue Mercedes there and DB Kung in second does seem to be ebbing and flowing a little bit, but DB Kung is not getting close enough to really be able to launch an attack. And the other thing is, with only 20 minutes race time, it's probably unlikely that tyre wear is going to be a major issue here. So just having a look down, see if anybody else has got anything that's likely to bubble up. They're all going in very neatly line astern at the moment, which, to be honest, is not overly what I want to see. Who else have we got? Randy Flangebanch just coming up towards the finishing line. Oh, it looks like after I picked him up, Randy Flangebanch has promptly made a mistake and fallen behind Chris V Dub. So commentator's curse is strong tonight. So sorry James, that is Randy Flangebanch. I've obviously cursed your race a little bit there, but you're still going, you're in the top 10, so keep it on the tarmac. So, right, let's have a look, see, have we got anything bubbling up? Brownster might be catching Denardi by the look of it. Only 1.7 seconds there. Let's have a look at the gap at the second interval, because obviously Brownster and Banff were recovering from that first lap incident. Let's see what the gap is now. 1.4 seconds. So looks like Brownster's got some good late rate pace there, which he seemed to have in the first race, but just left his attack. Sorry, that was Banff. Sorry, I was referring to the wrong driver from the first race. I do apologise. But it does look like Brownster's got the better pace here with just on 5 minutes to go. So this is going to be 3 laps from this point. So another lap in the bag there for the Brownster. Now, yeah, 1.1. So we've got 3 laps to go. So I think this is where the action is going to be. I'll keep my general eye on what's happening elsewhere, but at the moment I don't see anybody that is particularly getting closer to anyone else. So I think this is going to be where the action is going to come. So on screen there, you've got the Brownster in his matte black McLaren catching Denardi F1 in the Audi, the yellow Audi in front of him. Just to remind you of a couple of things, Race Club race every Wednesday. Sorry, every Wednesday. Must be getting late at night, my brain's failing. We race every Tuesday. The coverage starts around about 8:30, and subject to availability, I'm always here to give you a bit of commentary and hopefully add a little bit of colour to the racing. If you want to get involved in the racing, get on to Facebook, search Race Club UK, and you will find us on there. Join the group, and we've got a couple of spaces on the grid available. As you saw, we had I think 16 drivers at the start of tonight. Through a connection and rig issues, we've unfortunately lost a few. So we have got space if you want to join us. So jump on board, ask all about the club, and get into this season 5. We've got a full season of 12 races, and we go through, a big chunk of the ACC tracks. Majority of the races or race events are a 20 and a 40-minute race. But we do also have, I think, 3 endurance race, and then we've got a 1 hour endurance races, and then we've got a 2-hour finale at Bathurst. So we try and put in a good mix of circuits and tracks. And the other thing is, if you are a GT Sport or GT7 racer, if you want to join our sister group, which is Flat Out E-Racing, they do the racing on the PlayStation on those 2 simulators. So if you want to get involved on that side of it, search Flat Out E-Racing and jump on board. So as I've been chatting, we've got just about a lap and a half to go, and the Brownster's got that gap down to 0.8 of a second to Denardi in 4th. So I think this could be doable. He's catching about 0.3, 0.4 a lap. And it looks, the amount of track there with Denardi was using was all the track, all the red and white curb and the grass crate on the outside. So he's really pushing. So we're just coming up to the next timing sector. So let's see what the gap is here. And it's just 0.375. Look on screen. Just look how close that is. So here we go. Out of Ascari down towards the Parabolica. Brownster now getting the benefit of the slipstream in his McLaren from the Audi in front of him. Here we go, breaking into the Parabolica for the penultimate time. So I think Brownster with his McLaren, he's looking to get close.
Leaders on final lap now.
Here we go on the exit of Parabolica. That's what I predicted. It looked like Denardi went a little bit wide there. He didn't look very close to the apex. Here we go, side by side across the start finish line down towards the first corner. We've got Denardi on the inside, Brownster on the outside. They're absolutely side by side. Who's going to be last of the late breakers? It looks like it's going to be Denardi. Denardi holds the apex. It's gone a little bit deep and lost performance. Oh, there's a bit touchy-feely there as they come out of the corner. Everyone's still pointing the same way. So it's now on for the second chicane. They're through Grander Curve. Brownster's right under the rear wing of the Audi. Can he do anything about it? It looks like he's lost a little bit of time there. Can he take a dive up the inside? No, he's getting closer under the braking, but he can't quite do it. Now he's got 2 more possible chances. One is into the Ascari chicane and the other one's into Parabolica. But he needs to be a lot closer than what he is now to make that happen. So can he do anything? We're through Lesmo 1. He's using all the track a bit more. Into Lesmo 2. He definitely looks quicker than Denardi in front of him. Just 0.28 of a second was the gap. I don't think he's close enough to do anything at Ascari, but I think he's going to be close enough to do something possibly at Parabolica. No, he isn't. He's got it horribly wrong. He's got it into the gravel. So that's finished that battle off. It was a worthy try there, Brownster. It was a worthy try, but unfortunately it just didn't work out for you. So Banff is possibly going to catch him from behind, but we are going to make a complete mess of what we were doing there and go to Anun as he comes up and crosses the finish line. Congratulations there, Anun. Second place is DB Kung in the Ferrari. Bazek's in the Bentley, comes across in 3rd. Donardi following that late race pressure from the Brownster comes across in 4th. And speaking of the Brownster, he just crosses the line in 5th place there. Banff, after that lap 1 incident, he's recovered to 6th place. And Chicken Paxo, Donardi's teammate, he is coming through in 7th. So a bit of a quiet meeting there for Chicken Paxo. He's normally up there on the podium, so I think he's going to be a little bit disappointed where he is down there tonight. And then we've got, oh, is that Randy Flangepants has just nipped through in front of Chris V Dub. As by the look of it, I think he has, yeah. Randy Flangepants in 8th, Chris V Dub in 9th, and rounding out the top 10th, just going through the second Lesmo is Tony for another top 10 finish, and actually being slightly hounded by the cars that have completed the race. So looking at the front of that McLaren there of Tony HKR's, it's had a little bit of an adventure somewhere, because it's got a bit scuffed at the front there by the looks. Yeah, I think he's had more than a bit of an incident there, because I think he's running quite slowly, and he appears to be pulling over for the cars behind him, but they are actually ones that have completed the race. So I think DB Kung and the Nun need to possibly back off and let the chap finish his race. So into the Parabolica goes Tony, coming around to complete his race. Oh, that looks a bit twitchy there, so I think, yeah, he's got some kind of issue there with his car, but he's heading for the line. As they say, to finish first you have to finish. So, and Tony has finished there, so he crosses the line. So fantastic stuff there. 2 great races there tonight. We had fairly clean efforts through turn 1, a little bit of as we say, bumping and grinding, but we fairly much got away with it. So great to see. Hope you've enjoyed the commentary and the racing tonight, and hope you click the subscribe button and the like button, because that's what we want people to do. So next time we're online, you'll get a notification and you can come along and watch and listen to us. So thank you very much everyone for coming along and listening tonight. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.